Abusiafo, aha, the truth so asem asi, asemaba. Asem asi ni se abranti a friend Julius Malema. Or the above to say Ghana is threatened by corruption. Ghana is threatened by corruption, and because of that, we cannot pay our debt in IMF and World Bank. And in Mintia, ye kai di ewa IMF and a World Bank. Now, all Kakosi say Ghana and Pennyfo and a Ghana a pratity I said ye home. Now, Ghana, okay, yent me for South Africa ground to Ghana because a good year and your media check Ghana. No. The whole West Africa country behind you. Now, so Ghana for empanying for a year corrupt to the extent say yen to me emma a can free so Ghana the chrono intimate develop that copy say a can e be free World Bank and IMF enye me na make on misero enye me na make with the video no beto top ha na wa wati abrante no nanimu asem e make asem me na make an dabi abrante Julius Malema owo South Africa and the two gra e wo conference ase na pani behwe na tie nsema o kai o se Ghana nyamia che niema bebre hia de nke ni kwan se di bisi e di ani kwampo e de ehu bi yenti na nimu asem me ka o se ye wo the truth community group obetimi adwene e wo WhatsApp ene na media to ase ho no number no ne group number no ene wo no obetima kan rules and regulation they also say no group no any kwan say ye but modern anadwen the group community e wo WhatsApp na e wo nkomo bebre so e wo we interested obetimi apeke number no na wadwen the group yente Julius Malema.
But the democracy of Ghana is threatened by corruption, a corruption that made sure that Ghana does not pay its international debt. As a result, today, Ghana is unable to self-determine because everything else is dictated to Ghana by IMF and the World Bank because the current leadership failed to honor their obligation. It's the one that leads with successful succession which are peaceful. Of course, it experienced a bit of difficulty at some point, but since then Ghana became the most celebrated democracy. But the democracy of Ghana is threatened by corruption, a corruption that made sure that Ghana does not pay its international debt. As a result, today Ghana is unable to self-determine because everything else is dictated to Ghana by IMF and the World Bank because the current leadership failed to honor their obligation. It's a threat to a wonderful democracy anyway because it's eating on the moral fiber of democratic dispensation. We must never ever celebrate anyone who is corrupt or seek to defend the corrupt individuals irrespective of our political affiliation. Those who are stealing from the public purse now, they are stealing from the future. That's why they are unable to pay the debt now, and they will not be able to pay the debt in future. And it is you, the youth of Africa, that are going to inherit the debt, and you will not be able to develop your own countries. There is a tendency in the African continent of the youth defending the old corrupt because they give them the little money now and they forget the future. If you value yourself, if you value the future of this continent, you must stand tall and unashamedly fight corruption everywhere where it raises its ugly head. Don't care who says what. You must always speak truth to power. It doesn't matter who gets offended. The truth remains the truth, whether you are standing, whether you are sitting, whether you are sleeping, the truth will never change. And one thing you must know is that when you tell the truth to the powers that be, they may pretend now that they do not hear what you are saying. But when they are sleeping alone, their conscience speaks to them, and they must answer the question, is he or she telling the truth? And if the answer is yes, you have achieved your mission. They will never know they are corrupt until someone tells them on their faces that you are for yourself, you are for your family, you are for friends, you are for the politically connected, and you are not for our continent, because our continent is about the unity of African people that is based on economic ownership of the means of production. Ghanaians, we must make sure that we refuse the suppression of media freedom, because without media freedom we are nothing. If there is anyone who can tell the world of any wrongdoing in Ghana and in South Africa and everywhere else, is the Fourth Estate. It must be protected. It doesn't matter how bad they write about you, you must protect their right to write. Because without that pen, you must know there is an ushering in of a dictatorship. If media is suppressed, if media can't write about corruption, if media takes bribes from governments, you must know those are the dark days of the African continent. Today, we've got our own platforms on the social media. Let us help the traditional media to expose the corrupt leadership, to expose the mining companies that milk Africa without leaving anything in Africa. The gold of Ghana must remain in Ghana and service the people of Ghana. The minerals of Ghana, the minerals of South Africa must service Africa. The EFF believes in one Africa where we've got one president. I know Kwame Nkrumah was accused of wanting to be a president of Africa. There was nothing wrong with that. The man qualified because he woke us up from the dead. We'll continue Kwame Nkrumah's call. Even if we don't achieve it in our lifetime, we must create a solid foundation for one Africa, because one Africa is a threat to Europe and America. Africa with one president, Africa with one currency, Africa with one military command, Africa with one parliament. It's a threat that America cannot stand. Imagine a currency of Africa against the currency of USA. Ours will be based on the natural and mineral resources of our continent. And what will the currency of France be based on? Because France can't even produce anything for its survival. The whole soccer team of France is Africa. That's why when France plays with Britain, we all unwittingly support France because we see the blackness of the team.
Abusiafo we de mo mosoma. Ya rehosem, ya rehosem. Aha the truth so. Obetima adwene the truth community, the truth community. Bibi how ewo mantamu. Wohwe na se nkoyi anaba bia ehia development na atwea ya twea e mada no. Obetima the problem e how no wo video evidence obetimi dey abeto the group community group no. Na ya bubu hu. Ni hu kwa befa so a ebitima drum panifo anim. Kan ho the truth community ewo WhatsApp group. Bomodi akọ YouTube na ko subscribe the truth efama yenso. Na minka ho.